Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to go from this to this to this, all my sweet potatoes. So keep watching and I'll show you what I did. At the beginning of this year, I took a sweet potato and I put it in some water and let it just kind of sprout out. After it started sprouting, I started pulling these off and then I kept them in water, left them on the counter to get a little sunlight. They grew and they grew some roots. From there, I was able to take them out and put them into my wicking tubs. Let's make some slips, and then the ones that are rooted, we'll take those out and plant them. And that sweet potato slip should be ready to just go into the water until it gets roots. Once it has roots, I can take it out and go plant it. So in total, I have 40 slips. It will take anywhere from a month to 2 months, maybe even longer because it's winter, for these to root really well to where I'm comfortable taking them out into the garden and start planting them. So if we were to go off the about 8 pounds I got of sweet potatoes off of these 40 slips, that means if we were in spring, in about 90 to 120 days, we would then have 320 pounds of sweet potatoes. My little tag that I had that said when I planted these has just disappeared. So I know it's over 90 days. It might even be over 120, so it's time to harvest it either way. So I'm just gonna start off by cutting off all the stems, and then I'll start removing the sweet potatoes. So something interesting, one of the stems that was growing out decided to take root. It was obviously touching the soil and it must have been moist enough because it threw out roots, and now a couple inches off of the main planting, there's more roots going down. So we'll see if that leads to any more sweet potatoes. I only planted this one slip and then this one was a little bit later. So I know this is a completely different sweet potato plant, but there's two that decided to pop up, which I think that means I definitely left these in for too long. Here's the one that started to re-root itself. Where this did re-root, it did actually produce a tuber, and I just broke it. So it did produce a small sweet potato. Almost looks like a large radish. This makes me think I definitely left these in for too long, because this one was probably one of the first tubers and then it decided to throw out its own growth. We got some nice sweet potatoes. These were off the one in the corner. So there are some good sized sweet potatoes in here. Here's one more. All right, so I think I got all the sweet potatoes that were in there out. What I'm gonna do next is put all this potting mix back in, and then we can go weigh those sweet potatoes. All right, I've already mixed this up because of pulling out the sweet potatoes. I need to go ahead and add some stuff back into this because those sweet potatoes obviously pulled out a lot of nutrients. So I'm gonna go ahead and prepare this so I can plant in here again. I'm gonna go ahead and use my worm castings, and that should help bring some good microbial life to this wicking tub. And it will also be a very small amount of fertilizer to the system. And I'm just gonna use all of it. Measuring wise, it was 500 milliliters. Now next, I'm gonna use some alfalfa meal. The last thing I'm gonna add is sulfuric potash, which is sulfur and potassium. So sulfuric potash, the stuff that I have is a 0050. So this is really strong. I'm gonna just sprinkle in a little bit of this because it does go a pretty long way. The sulfuric potash will really help with root development, which is important for the sweet potatoes because, well, they need that in order to grow nice tubers. I've added in the amendments I need to, and I think later on I will maybe give it a little top dressing of some compost, and that way it'll just help give it anything else that it needs, but this should have pretty much everything that it's gonna need. I'll probably give it a little top watering to help because I've definitely disturbed it, so the wicking might not happen as well now. So there was a couple little ones that we're not gonna eat, so I'm just gonna plant these in and see what happens. Let's go plant some more sweet potatoes in a couple other areas. This is where I'm gonna plant my sweet potatoes, in this garden bed on my hillside. It gets a decent amount of light, and all the peas that I had growing on this, they died off. So since I have the panel up, I figured I may as well plant along this. And if these do well in a week, I'll probably bring out the other potatoes, sweet potatoes that have rooted, and I'll plant those in as well. Sweet potatoes do like to vine, so they will actually grow up and take over this entire fence. So I'm just gonna plant this on its side because it does have two different spots that it's trying to throw plants up out of, or new shoots. So I'm gonna plant it sideways and let it kind of go from there. The sweet potatoes are planted. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a good watering. This garden bed we rebuilt and added more fresh compost to this, so it should have plenty of nutrients to take care of these sweet potatoes. I hope you liked it and you found my experiment interesting, and if you want to see the results, I hope you subscribe.